Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter, happy Easter, happy Easter. I'm coming back with another video regarding the AJ Armstrong trial. I've been following it for a long time, and thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my point of view about everything. Um, as we know, it's on a break right now until after Easter. Everyone's getting ready for Easter. I'm not here to say AJ Armstrong Jr. killed his parents. I'm not here to be a judge nor a jury. I'm only here to talk about the evidence that's been presented in court from both sides, from AJ defense side and also from the prosecutor's side. In the very beginning, I was talking about how the alarm system didn't go off and all the doors were closed, all the windows were locked. And now on this show, I'm talking about the defense. The defense had a chance on their last day of the trial uh, this week. They were talking about the alarm system as well. Matter of fact, they showed a video of an alarm expert that went out to the Armstrong's property, and that person said that the alarm system was not working that night. Um, but are the defense witnesses telling the truth? I mean, was he there that night? That's what I wanted to know. Was he there that night? Um, and uh, was he the owner, or really knew exactly about that particular system? Because the other party, the ADT people, said they knew exactly that that system was working that night. So I want to hear a little more about it when the trial comes back, because one party said the alarm system was working, and now the defense team says that the alarm system wasn't working. In fact, it showed him walking in and out, in and out. But I know sometimes an alarm system, it's so many different codes, and it's kind of technical. There are a lot of different codes, and sometimes you may be able to set your system that you can walk in and out. So that's what we have to find out a little more. Um, was he telling the truth that that system wasn't working that night? Well, the only way someone would really know that if the system was working, if they was there that night to hear the system, or to know exactly that particular night if the system was working or not. Because the other people, who I think are the ADT people, they said they saw motion and they saw this and they saw that. So now this person was showing a video. I mean, you can video. I'm videoing now. You can video anything you want to video, and you can show anything you want to show. But you would have to have been there that night. Anybody would have to have been there that night, unless it can actually show friction and movement in systems, because most people have alarm systems. They know that 9 times out of 10, their system really works. And kind of, even when someone walks in the door in my system, and it'll go beep, beep, beep. So you even know if someone's coming in because you can hear that beep. Now, systems, like I said, can be set any way you want them. Some people may have it on a beep motion and some may not. I mean, it's technical when it comes to an alarm system. Uh, and actually, that alarm system, at one point, I was thinking, well, that alarm system has a really, really great play in this case, because it actually will show if someone's actually came in to murder his parents, or if it was someone already inside the property that murdered his parents. So it still tends to lead to someone inside of the property, and also, it still tends to lean to the child, the kid, because he was a child at the time. Because even on the 911 call, when he said it was all my fault. So now, with this other alarm technician or whatever, or expert coming on the scene, uh, was that alarm system or that door open for someone else to come in? or it was either it was that, it still kind of connects it with the child because of the fact that the child said it was all my fault. Well, was it all his fault because he left the door open for someone to come in, or why, or was it his fault because he actually committed the crime? I mean, that leaves, a question mark in anyone's mind. I really hope this case comes to a close soon because a lot of people are really, really concerned, and they want to know the outcome of it, as everyone would, because who actually killed Dawn Armstrong and AJ Armstrong Sr.? Was it his child? Was it AJ Jr.? Now, most people that I'll talk to, from looking at the evidence, this is not what I'm saying. This is from talking to a lot of people. They're saying it's leading to AJ Armstrong Jr. And so when I would ask them, well, why are you saying that? And they said, well, the reason most people are saying that is because of the fact that when he lied to the cops and he said he never touched the gun. And also on the 911 call, when they were asking questions, well, where do your father keep the gun? And he kind of stuttered. And then he said, well, I don't know. And then he said, oh, yeah, on side of the bed. So he knew exactly where the gun was. And most people would say, well, if it was an intruder, who's going to take the time for an intruder to go and try to find out where the gun is, or to tip in his parents' room, not knowing if they would wake up? That would be very, very dangerous for an intruder to do, unless that intruder actually came into anyone's property with their own weapon, to go and look for his father's weapon, unless, like I said, the door was open and the weapon was handed to an intruder. Because an intruder is not going to go around fishing in no drawers trying to find that particular home gun that belongs to that home. Not an intruder. So that is why people said it leads to AJ Armstrong Jr., whether he pulled the trigger or someone else pulled the trigger. He was actually the one that knew where the gun was, because from the 911 call, when at first he said, no, I don't know where he keeps the gun. And then, oh, yeah, he keeps it in a drawer on side of the bed. Then he told the cops. And see, when he said, I don't know where the gun was, and then they later asked him, had he used the gun? When they came out, then they asked him, had he ever used the gun? And he said no. Well, they know he knew where the gun was because on the 911 call, he said it was in a drawer on the side of the bed. So it was conflicting. His story was a little changing. So this is why people say, well, from the stories that they see on TV and the evidence that's been presented in the court, it seems to still point to the child. Well, he's a young man now. He's 19 years old. And then when he lied to the cops and said, I never touched the gun, and then they saw the bullet hole in his floor, in his room. So most people tend to think, even if this alarm person is saying it and showing on the video he's walking in and out, that still has uh, no meaning to who actually killed AJ Armstrong Jr.'s parents. That has no, I mean, now it's beyond an alarm system. It's going into the 911 call. That's what most people are going by, the 911 call, the family weapon, not an intruder's weapon, the note, because what intruder will have time to write a note? Normally they're going to shoot you. And especially like the kid said, well, he saw the intruder with a mask on. Well, most intruders will just shoot. If you see them, they don't want to leave nothing behind, not even the family weapon. That's the trick. That weapon belonged to the family property. How could an intruder get it? And the intruder knew where the kitchen was and this and that. And the intruder had time to write a note. Another thing, that note, as everyone said, if you did, you can't read it anyway. So that sounds like a child. I've been watching you. Well, it doesn't matter if you've been watching me or not. I'm already dead. You've done what you're going to do. So you don't have to write a note. So that tends to be, a child move. And then when the parents, when they pulled out those text messages, that That was a big play, and about the matches with the child. So then it goes from the alarm system to all of the lies, all of the deceit, the lying to the cops, the lying to the parents, and just the lies. So an alarm system doesn't mean anything because these parents were killed by their own weapon in their own home, not at their business. Another thing, when I was speaking to people, they said that, and the same thing I've said, why didn't the intruders go to their business? You know, oftentimes when people want to get someone, they have a setup. Even when people get mad for someone firing them on their jobs, you know what they do? They go stake out the place where the people work, or they will just go in blasting into the place. An intruder shoots just whoever they see in their sight. And if this was an intruder in the Armstrong's property and they went just for those people, those two people, they didn't kill AJ and they didn't kill the little girl, they could have went easily to the business and just got those two people that they want rather than risking themselves to go into a property and to look for the family's weapon. Most intruders going to have their own weapon, and they're not going to take it in no kitchen. They're going to be getting the hell out of there. And so it seems like when he said he saw them with a mask and they left, or they ran out, or they left, or something. Well, if they left like that, then they didn't have a chance to go in the kitchen and leave the weapon. So it's just a whole lot of holes. So is the defense, are the witnesses telling the truth about the alarm system? Another thing, someone said that the witness to that alarm system was paid. And there was this one girl, she says, well, if they paid me a lot of money, I'll lie too. I said, no, you can't lie under oath. That's not good to lie under oath. Because if they find out that man is lying under oath about that alarm system, then he'll be in the same position AJ Armstrong is in, going to trial for lying, in front of the court proceedings. So, but the thing of it is, walking in and out, showing walking in and out 3 times, and alarm not going off. Well, you can fix it that way, and you can walk in and out and not have it on, and film yourself walking in and out, and the alarm is not saying anything. So the other people said they should have evidence to show that it did go off. So it's easy to show that it's not going off than it is to show that it did go off. Because if it did go off, you have waves and stuff. You have beeps and you have waves and you have all the um, magnetic showings and signs and motions and this and that. But if you turn an alarm off and you're filming walking in and out, like I've done because I'm into filming, it's not gonna go off. It's not gonna pick up anything because it's not on. So, um, is the defense witness actually telling the truth? And I really didn't see it, but someone said the prosecutors poked a hole into that particular witness. I didn't see it. This is just what I heard, and I'm only going by what I hear and talking to people, just being out in the public, and what I see on TV, and about the gun, that gun, that gun, that weapon, the family weapon. An intruder gonna kill AJ's parents with their own gun. How did he know where it was? AJ told the cops, let me see, he kind of stumbled on the number. Then he said it's in their drawer on side of the bed. Then when they got there, have you ever touched it? No. Then they said bullet hole in the room. Where did the bullet hole come from? And all of that. It's all pointing still towards AJ Jr. It really is. And then his parents was so upset with him. That's another thing. All of this happened prior, and I know they were saying AJ was talking kind to his girlfriend and this and that. Why wouldn't he? He's not mad, angry at his girlfriend. Of course, he's going to say sweet things to her. He should. That was his girlfriend. They're in love with each other. That didn't mean that he didn't kill his parents. I mean, you have people that can turn on and off like a water faucet. And especially if something's been bothering them for a long time, or they're very upset, or they feel like they're just mad at the world and they want to move on with their life and put all that behind them. Maybe he could have been under pressure if he killed his parents. I'm not saying AJ Armstrong Jr. killed his parents, but I'm saying it's leading up to him. And from all the people that I talked to, I even had someone comment on my page and they said, take it from an ex con. That kid shouldn't have harmed his parents, the hand that fed him. So a lot of people, most people are saying it's pointing towards him, towards AJ Jr. And I think merely it's because of that family gun and that an intruder would not know where the weapon was unless someone told him or someone gave it to them. And then someone put it in the kitchen with the note and let him walk out if the alarm was off. But the ADT people said the alarm was on. And I guess they proved that to the jury. I wasn't in court. I don't know. All I know is I wanted to ask you, do you think the defense witness lied about that alarm system? Many said they were paid. He was paid. And then he got crossed up when the prosecutors poked a hole in him about it. I didn't see that part. I just heard about it. So the trial will go on. It's going to start back on Monday, and it'll be more about that alarm system. But as I said, it's kind of past that alarm system now. It's about who actually did it. And the reason everyone's thinking that is pointing towards the child is because of the fact that they pretty much seem like they already know because it's no one else that they're accusing. They tried to accuse another thing. They started out defending AJ Jr. Then they said it was his brother. Now, the last couple of days in trial, I heard nothing else about the brother after the girlfriend testified. So now it's this new alarm person that was paid to say, I don't know if he was paid to say it, but I know he was paid to come to court, maybe paid for his time. But he did say that that system, he went out there 3 times. Well, if you went to fix a system 3 times, by the third time, it should be fixed. If you go anywhere 3 times, that means uh, you're no good, your company. I wouldn't use a company if I have to keep going or keep calling them out to my property. They can come and yank it out. I don't want it. So after that third time, 3 strikes, you're out. You should have gotten it right, that system. And oftentimes you do get it right. And most people think it was right. Most people think it was working because the people have the evidence showing that it was. So what do you think? What do you think out there? I'm not I'm not the judge and I'm not the jury. I'm not the court. I'm just talking from a public point of view of listening to other people, asking questions, because those were some beautiful people here in Houston, like yourself and myself. And justice has to be served. And their parents want justice served too. I know they do. I wonder if they're asking these people to go and find. I haven't heard anything in the news yet about the parents saying, um, why are you guys just focusing? I think I did hear a little, but it's not enough to take all the pressure from AJ's trial. You see, if indeed there was someone else, it would be in the news. I mean, it's no way I don't think that child would have been in juvenile for 9 months if they really didn't think that he did it. And when the cops, that 911 call was crucial. The 911 call was crucial, and all the lies that he told to his parents and the cops, especially about a gun, not shooting that gun. And, really to shoot a gun, sometimes you get that feel of a gun. My dad used to tell me that because he had rifles and stuff when we were growing up, and he was a cowboy and he loved his gun. And my dad would keep his gun right next to his father's chair. And my daddy said, once you pull that trigger, he said, a lot of people get trigger happy. A lot of people get trigger happy. They pull it that one time and they get that little sensation, and it means nothing to them to pull it again. So, but that part, I don't think he should have lied to the cops because the cops read real deep into stuff. They're trained for that. They can pick up energies. You can fool yourself, but you can't fool everyone. And nowadays, these kids, they are really, really kids or something else. And my mother always said, you got to be 99 times smarter or slicker than them because they'll think they can outslick you in their minds nowadays, even little kids. I was talking to a lady today and she said a third grader slapped a teacher. Now, you know that's something. When you got a child in the third grade slapping a teacher and you can't hit them back. So kids are really, really, really something. And from those text messages, AJ was giving his parents a hard time, and he just couldn't keep up to where they wanted him to be, and he probably just snapped. Or drugs can really change people's minds. I'm not saying he did it, but I know his parents did said he was smoking marijuana in the house. And sometimes people put stuff in marijuana, and I know a lot of people have went crazy from smoking drugs, and they didn't know what was in that stuff, that angel dust and stuff back in the days. A lot of people have snapped just like that. And then the next day, they don't know what the hell happened to them. They don't even know what they did. They just walk around in a daze like nothing is nothing. You have people that'll commit a crime and they'll look at you, smile at you, and act like that's a narcissist. That's a person that has psyched themselves out. And if a person is like that, what do you think they'll do to you? What do you think they'll do to you? And I know the defense team, that's their job. I have attorneys in my family. They're there to represent. Whether he did it or not, their job is to defend A.J. Armstrong Jr. I mean, I'm quite sure they deal with a lot of people that have killed people or robbed people or harmed people or stabbed people, but it is their job to defend, and it's the prosecutor's job to put people away that harm other people in society, because they shouldn't. To take away someone else's life, how do you think you're going to just walk around and be happy and free? No one should. No one. Everyone has to pay for their crime, whether it's AJ, whether AJ Jr. had a partner helping him or whoever. They got to pay someday. And that's why a lot of people just break down. You've seen that. A lot of people just break down, sometimes even in court. I just want to say something. I'm guilty. I want to get it off my conscience. The only way a person that committed something so horrific would not break down is because of being a narcissist, chauvinist, arrogant, selfish, and just don't give a damn. Just, you can free yourself when you tell the truth, whether you have to pay or not. I mean, I know people that I've heard of actually that have committed crimes with other people, and they'll take their credit for what they did. And you got other people that'll run and they never get caught. And they'll just sit there and take it like a man. and they'll just go to jail for someone else's crime, and they won't even tell on the other person. You've heard that all the time. So the other person feels like, well, I don't have to go because he took my rap. But somebody's going to pay when you do a crime together with somebody, or if you do it by yourself. Somebody's going to pay. Somebody out of the bunch, somebody. If it's two people, one going to pay or both going to pay. And I just wouldn't go down by myself. If someone helped me do a crime, which that'll never happen because I would never want to put myself in a position that this young man is in right now. So please click like, share, and subscribe. I'm just talking my point of view, so don't get angry at me. I'm just talking about this case because it is really something. Those were some beautiful people in Houston, Texas, and I feel for their parents. I pray for the grandparents, and I wonder how they feel about all this stuff that's going on in court with this alarm system. I wonder if they have doubt in their mind about their grandson. Uh, that's a touchy situation because it's still love there. It's love if he did it because they probably feel sorry for him that he was under pressure. It's love if he didn't do it. And another thing, if he didn't do it and he's found not guilty and he was in jail and the real killer comes up, or he tells on the real killer, if it wasn't two people, if it was just him, then hopefully he would come clean. If it was him and someone else that he gave the gun to, perhaps allegedly, if he did. I'm not saying that he did, but that's just a different little point of view about it. If he would just come out and say, well, yeah, I did it. I mean, it's just, I just can't wrap my head around really thinking that AJ Armstrong Jr. killed his parents, but his grandparents, they would still probably love him, even though they lost their kids, because they do feel sorry for him for going through what he went through. It's a painful situation all the way around because if you lose a grandkid, it's painful. You've already lost your kids, and then it makes you feel so empty inside. Empty inside from the love, empty from your pocketbook because you're really putting out a lot of money to save this child. And but all the fingers are pointing to the child. And I wonder deep down inside, how do they feel to know or to hear through the grapevine that people are saying all the fingers are pointing because they just don't want to believe it. And I talked with a grandmother today because I just like talking to people to find out their point of view. And she said that's the love of a grandmother. And I said, even if they had doubt in their mind that he killed his parents, their children, and the older lady said, yeah, that's still the love of a grandmother. It's just pain on all sides. So I pray for them. And I wish everyone the best. And if the child did do it, then possibly he need help, that he could be a narcissist and just psyched himself out. You don't want him to be a cold-blooded killer because if someone can kill their parents, you never know what they could do to you. So if it's true that this child killed his parents, I think he would need some psychological help, especially because of the demeanor and the disposition. Um, the only time I think he broke down was when he saw, the saw them dead in the bed or whatever. I didn't see that part, and I really don't want to see that. So if he did, he can win a Grammy. Yes, he can win a Grammy in Hollywood. But one thing he couldn't win it, and who he couldn't win that Grammy with, was Dawn Armstrong, the mother, and AJ Armstrong Sr. He couldn't win no Grammy with them because they know him better than the grandmother. They know him better than he know himself. This is why they was getting on him, because they knew he had wrong in him. And they said it on the tape. I'm not talking from me. I'm only talking from what I see on TV. So please don't get mad at me. I'm just talking about what his parents said, and they showed it. That the parents said he was a liar, he was scheming, he was cheating. He lied on his little sister about matches and burning. I mean, it's just so much bad stuff. It's not like, oh, you're such a great child. We love you for all of what you've done. We got you that car because you was good. They didn't say that. They said we got you that car and you was bad. And we're gonna take it from you and your phone for lying on your sister with the matches. Everything was just a mess. Everything was just a mess. So I don't know. I'm just going by what they said. So don't get mad at me. You have to get mad at the court because this is the evidence that they're putting out there. They're putting that out there. And I'm not doing this to help his trial, help him go to jail or anything like that. I'm not, because it's so confusing to everyone. Is the defense, people want the truth. Is the defense team witnesses, are they telling the truth? I mean, are they telling the truth or are they not? Because everyone believed the alarm, the ADT people, the people that said the motion detectors were actually going off and working. Now, the defense people said again, they said I went out there 3 times and that alarm system was not working that night. Did you go out there that night? Was you there at that time? Well, if it wasn't working, how did the intruder get in the house? Was the door open? Was the gun presented to him in his hand, the family gun? He didn't have his gun. And why would he leave the family gun in the kitchen? He knew where the kitchen was, the intruder? Wow. The intruder knew where the gun was in the father's drawer in the room. Who's going to pedal around and start digging in somebody's room in their drawer trying to find a gun? Who? Because the father could have easily made him wake up. And he could have grabbed that gun so fast and killed that intruder so fast it would have made your head swim or anybody else's head swim. So I don't buy that with the intruder uh, with the family gun. And I definitely don't buy that with the intruder taking no gun in no kitchen. Now, if the intruder came in to help kill them and the gun was passed back to somebody and they went down and put it in the kitchen and wrote a note, that's different. But so far as an intruder alone coming in the room trying to find a gun, the family's gun, his dad's gun, I don't buy that. I don't buy it. And if anybody else buy it, let me know. Because you see about intruders every day on TV. Them intruders, man. Matter of fact, they would have went to their gym. They had a gym in Bear Lair, Texas. They would have went to that gym, waited on them to get off. They would have found that perfect time because it wasn't like whoever killed them went after just those two. They didn't try to rob nobody. They didn't try to kill a little girl, and they definitely didn't kill AJ when he said he saw them. So if they wanted those parents, they could have went right to the gym and waited on them and not risk coming into the house, not risk that AJ could have seen him and shot him, not risk waking up anybody. No. There were many ways to get them, many ways. They could have had them set up. They could have had them going somewhere together. They could have did it in a more high-tech way than a child's way. To me, that was very child play, the little notes, and I've been watching you after they're already dead. Who's going to do that? Who's going to do that? Who's going to lie all the time? Lie to the cops, lie to you. It just, what do you think? What do you think? Do you think the defense is going to nail it or not? I'm praying for the grandparents, and I'm also praying for AJ Armstrong Jr. because if he needs the help, he definitely should get it. He definitely should get the help that he needs. Well, he needs some help anyway and some therapy because it happened. And the way the kid broke down in court, that can make anybody feel sorry for someone that, even if they did something that horrific or not, because it was their parents. So you can imagine inside, if they did it, how they can feel afterwards. Like I said earlier, especially if it was some drugs involved, because a lot of times people get really high and get drunk and they do stuff and didn't know what they did the next day. So all of that, I haven't heard that come out in court, that even if he did it, drugs could have been a play, because the parents did say they caught him smoking marijuana. Well, who knows what was inside of the marijuana? So we have to think about that also. So if he did it, it could be drugs. If he did it, it still tends to lead to him, because whether the alarm system was working or not, he said it's all my fault. Well, was it your fault because you didn't turn the alarm on and let the person in, and then the person did it and gave you back the gun, or you did it together, or you did it by yourself? Because it should not have been your fault. Period. Period. It should never be your fault when it comes to the murder of your parents. Those words were just a telling something. So, with that, I'm going to end my story and my television, my little YouTube talk show. And I hope you would click like, share, and subscribe. And don't get angry at me. It's just what I'm seeing on TV, what I'm hearing from the public. And we'll just keep our fingers crossed for the best. And I'm praying for the grandparents and the child too. And thank you for watching. Click like, share, and subscribe. Bye. Happy Easter.